Hi there. We are going to do a garden update today. It's July 5th and it's been a little bit since we've done an update. We plan to do one about every month. I think the last one was beginning of June, and so we'll kind of show you how things have changed over the last month. Things change quickly. So we'll quick go through the garden, show you what's growing, maybe what the plans are, what was just done to those beds. So here we have garlic that was just pulled this morning, and we cut the tops off and we line them in the walkways to mulch the walkways, keep weeds down. And here we have some succession plantings of beans. So these are just flowering. Those will be about ready in 2 weeks, and then we have next planting of beans right next to there. And here we have our tomato hoop house, which has changed dramatically from last time. So these were just put in the ground about a month and a half ago. And so from just little plants to a month and a half later, they're about 6 feet tall, and they have loads of, these are cherries here, so they have loads of cherries on there, looking beautiful. And then these are determinate bush tomatoes. So these have really nice green tomatoes. So in about a month and a half, that's what's happened. It's quite amazing what tomato plants can do. And so outside here we have our mini sweet peppers. They're coming along nicely on the edge here. These are green beans that we're picking right now. We just picked them yesterday. And then we have our melon patch, our melon row, which are they're starting to put on little melons now. So some bigger ones, but they're looking really nice this year. I would say they're probably the best plants we've had. And the bees are really going crazy. You know, there's a couple bees right there fluttering. I don't know if you can see them. Okay, we have there's 4 hives here, beehives, and they really like the melon plants. I think that's why we have so many melons this year. They're really getting pollinated well. There we have cauliflower, which hopefully will be ready in 2 to 3 weeks. Brussels sprouts, broccoli, interplanted. So we have sweet potatoes in between there that were put in a couple weeks ago. But the broccoli, you see they're starting to put on heads. So hopefully those will be out of there in a couple weeks, and the sweet potatoes can start to take over. And we have these plants here are definitely a little bit ahead there, but these were planted first. And we have those interplanted with onions that are starting to really bulb up nicely. So yeah, it seems like the onions and sweet potatoes do really well next to each other. And we have the same deal with onions and strawberry plants here. These plants are putting on a lot of runners now, so we'll be going through and setting runners to kind of make a nice even patch the whole way down. And we have the same thing here, strawberries interplanted with lettuce. So we have a mixture of salad green lettuce and head lettuce, and we're starting to harvest alongside it. So you can see it's starting to free up room for the strawberry plants as they're putting on runners. So here we have a lot of lettuce still in the ground, but in the next week or two, pretty much all the head lettuce will be out of here, and the salad greens will be about done. It'll be starting to pull. We have strawberries all the way down here to here. Actually, there's strawberries there, we just started, but yeah, here's parsley. That's looking amazing next to the strawberry plants. We already harvested it once, and we'll be able to come through again and take another cutting. So you can see all the first cutting that we had there, and that was a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, and so there's enough there to make another cut. And we have broccoli that we're harvesting right now, cabbage, which will be ready probably in 2 weeks. Head cabbage, same deal, probably a week or couple weeks probably. And here we have our strawberry patch from this year that we're terminating. So half the patch is under the silage start being killed off. So we just use the absence of sunlight to kill the plants. That and the addition of the heat that the black top creates. So we already did that once right here. So we put that tarp on to kill, and then we planted a late planting of winter squash. So we have winter squash under the row cover here, and that's to keep the cucumber beetles off. And then we also have our late planting of sweet potatoes. So yeah, in addition to getting strawberries, we'll hopefully get another crop of winter squash and whatever else we can put in there this year. And then here, well, we can go to the hedgerow. The hedgerow is pretty, I don't know, what do you say, vibrant this time of year. So we got a lot of things in flower. We got St. John's wort. There's burning hearts, which are those beautiful kind of orange, yellow, red flowers down there. And we have marigolds coming up from seed last year. So we didn't plant any marigolds, but they went to seed and some of them came up. And then this year is kind of, I would say, the prettiest flower we have. This is mountain, where is it? It's a delphinium, I'm pretty sure. I forget the exact, mountain something is the variety. Yep. So the hedgerow is kind of nice, just provides habitat for a lot of insects. There's a lot of variety in plants there. Between we got raspberries and flowers that bring in pollinators. And then we have the purple martin house. Just got another hedgerow right here, pretty much the same thing, just some different flowers. So those white flowers up there are daisies. The variety is Madonna. We're selling some of those perennial plants, and that's what they look like full grown. They're really pretty. We got watermelon here starting to take over. We have potatoes. So this is a new plot. It was strawberries last year we tilled under. And then we made our beds, new beds that we won't be tilling anymore. So the first year isn't usually the best as far as production wise, but potatoes seem to like it, and we try to plant things there that don't need the loose fertile soil. But then here on the edge of that plot we have zucchini, which are putting on nice zucchinis now. We've been harvesting them for about a week now. We got another row of potatoes. We put potatoes between the cucumbers and zucchinis just because the cucumbers spread out so much. So we like to have a barrier there between the zucchinis and cucumbers, or else they'll grow together and it makes it hard to harvest. And so here we've been harvesting these, and we just harvested them yesterday, so they're a little small, but you can see there's already some more sizing up nicely. And these are regular cucumbers. I don't know if there's any on here. Yeah, here's a nice one right there. We got some nice cucumbers coming on. We have carrots. And here we have most of our beets that we've been harvesting. There's still a lot there. We have more beets than what we know to do with right now. And then these two beds here, this bed of kale, that was actually potatoes that we just harvested about 3 weeks ago. So I had transplants ready to go right when we got the potatoes out. So we can get a potato harvest, and then we can get kale in, and you could actually harvest that right now. So in a matter of about 3 weeks from when you harvest potatoes, you can have another harvest of something else if you have it ready to go in. So that kale is looking really nice and beautiful. So we just try to utilize our greenhouse space or hoop house space as much as we can. Always have something in there growing, because the plants definitely thrive and do better in there. Going here, we have black raspberries that were just put in this year. So these were the starts here. You can tell the leaves aren't very nice. But this is all new growth this year, these two shoots. So they're really liking it. They're taking off. Next year, I think we'll have a lot of nice raspberries from those plants. And here we have where our sugar snap peas were, and we just pulled the vines or the plants and we put them in the walkways and smashed them down just to add another layer of mulch there. And about right when we started harvesting the peas, about 2 weeks before we pulled them, the plants, we put we put regular potatoes in between the rows, and it takes about 1 to 2 weeks for the potatoes to put off growth above ground. So we timed it so when the peas were being pulled, the potato plants were coming up and kind of ready to take off. I thought I saw some rabbit damage, but it's okay. And it's kind of the same thing. These 3 beds here are our latest planting of potatoes, and we like to have a later planting just because we can harvest them later and they'll store better over the winter. We got some more lettuce under this row cover, and that's kind of for actually more shading than anything else. When we transplant the lettuce, it needs a little bit of shade to help it get established, especially with how hot it's been. And then this is just a couple more plantings of green beans, succession plantings. So this is the most recent, and then that was planted a week or 2 before that bed. So we always like to have green beans coming out of the garden. And here we have broccoli and cabbage, our second planting. We had radishes and turnips there probably last time we made a video. And so right about the time those were done, we put our transplants in, and those will be probably ready in a month or 2. And this bed here, we have leeks, which haven't done so well. We plant them deep to give us a nice white stem, but it's been so wet that you can tell they're greening up now. They're doing a little bit better, but there's a period there where they didn't like it. The ground was too saturated. That's kind of one failure we've had this year. And here we just have more kale, of course, and we have celery right above this kale. So that celery we'll probably have in our CSA in the next week or 2. And more kale. And then here we have all of our bell peppers. So these have nice, pretty much ready. Each plant, they have about a pepper that's ready. See, they're starting. There's some sun scald damage. Not too bad, but yeah, we'll be harvesting those soon. We might actually have some for our Saturday market in Wadsworth. Have some peppers. And this is where we have our Swiss chard and our first planting of kale. So that's it for up front here. Hopefully I wasn't too long. If you stuck with me the whole time, great. Hope you enjoyed it, and until next time, eat well, live well.